available.
First Watch Now.
What you need to know from the Cochise County Sheriff's Office.
Hosted by Cochise County Public Information Officers Carol Kappas and Grady Butler. First Watch on 92.3 KWCD.
And it's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative, giving you an inside look into your Sheriff's Office. I'm Grady Butler, and with me is Carol Kappas, Public Information Officer with the Sheriff's Office, and Sheriff Mark Daniels. Good morning.
Good morning, Cochise County.
Hello, everyone.
Well, let's start off with Cars for Kids that was last Saturday.
What a huge success, Grady. I mean, I know you were out there doing a live remote for us, and I appreciate it, you and Val both. But it was packed. We had 262 cars total, I believe it was. We had to turn cars away, and that was hard to do, of course. But it was packed in front of Hobby Lobby, Cal Ranch. Thanks to both those businesses for supporting us and sponsoring us. And the money we raised was like almost double from what we've done in the past. I think a lot of it people wanted to get out because of COVID. But number two is the show has grown every year, and we thank the community. We thank the people that have their vintage cars to bring them out there, and we had great sponsors this year. They came out of with an article in the Service Herald thanking our sponsors this week, and second of all, our auction items. Just great auction items, and people come out for those auctions, and they know it's for the kids, so they come out and they bid a lot of money, and it was a great event. When I left that day about 5 o'clock after cleaning everything up, it was like, yeah, it's nice when you have that kind of a successful program in this area, especially on the heels of COVID. So today's our last meeting. We have a meeting at 1 o'clock today at the Boys and Girls Club in Sierra Vista to kind of debrief it and figure out where we go next year and figure out what we need to do better. But it's growing every year, and I thank the committee that helps me put this together.
That's a really good location, too.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
It is. Now, one thing we got hit on was vendors, the car guys and visitors. Hey, where's the vendors? I think you got all these food vendors. We thought, well, not food vendors, but food stores. So we're thinking, okay, they'll be good. I mean, because you got Subway, you got Burger King, Fresh, all the different businesses that serve food right there. We thought that will satisfy that need. Oh, right. No, got to have that vendor food. So we're going to have
food truck. Yes, you need to have those.
I mean,
yes.
I don't want to be degrading on that, but I mean, people like the vendor food, and then some of that's really good stuff. And so people really hit us on that. Where's the vendors? They'll be back next year, I promise you.
And the money that was raised goes to two really cool organizations as well.
It does. It goes 70% of the funds raised. And what my last total I was told a couple days ago, and I know it's higher than that because we're still collecting some funds, was over $42,000. So anytime you do a fundraiser in Sierra Vista in the greater area and raise $42,000, I know it's a little bit more than that right now, and 70% of that goes to the Boys and Girls Club. So thank you, everybody. This is a cost-free show. We have no debt. Long story short is everything we do, from the DJ to the water, the Pepsi, from Pepsi here in town, you name it, is 100% provided. So we don't have any bills at the end of the show. So if we raise $1, it goes toward the cause. There's no admin fees on this. So 70% goes to the Boys and Girls Club for their programs and their youth, and then 30% goes back to the Fraternal Order of Police, cops and kids, for their outreach programs, scholarships for kids and things.
This past Tuesday, of course, the border is the national headline at the moment. And this past Tuesday, we had a load vehicle that kind of made local headlines as well.
We did, and this is not uncommon, sadly to say. Our pursuits are up in Cochise County. They're up throughout the state. If you talk to the director of DPS, he'll tell you the same thing. All the way through, you talk to your police chiefs and stuff, they'll tell you the same thing too. Is the smuggling's high right now. It's truly high. And the problem I have is it's such a risk. It's such a risk to our citizens, our motoring public, our communities, because these smugglers have no rules. They're not disciplined. There's no policy or procedure they sign. The only thing they need to do is they pick up these people that are being smuggled by the coyotes, and then they drive whatever it takes to get out of this county. Because they know if they get through Cochise County and these border communities, the chances of not being caught is greatly decreased. So they'll do whatever it takes. So on a daily basis, I mean, they run down, and a lot of these people are younger adults in their 20s that come from the Phoenix area, Tucson area. They get paid a fee to come down here. They pull into some local businesses. They wait till they're called up. They go down into the South 92 is a big hot spot for this area, down in Hereford, pick them up, and then they come up. Border Patrol calls us, or we see a vehicle, or we see people call the community, and I encourage that. That's my safety message. If you see it, and we'll talk more here in a little bit on that, call the sheriff's office. So in this case, we had a tip. I spotted the vehicle down by Wild Horse. I got in behind it. Got another deputy in behind it, lit it up. The car pulled over. I walked up. As I'm walking up, which I thought, wow, the car stopped, which is very rare. I walked up, and some of the deputies were already up in Huachuca City with another one. Another one just got picked up illegals. So as I walked up, the vehicle took off. And unusual on this one, that instead of going north into Sierra Vista, which, as we know, we're not going to risk people here in the community, we'll disengage and terminate the pursuit. In this case, the vehicle turned into a residential area south in Hereford. And as a one-way in, one-way out, vehicle came to and the reckless behavior by these drivers. If you ever see it, it's sad. They pulled into a residence. They ran into the residence backyard, up in the front. We ended up getting all of them, and it took us 2 days. Ironically, we got the driver, which is most important to us. It truly is. He was an individual out of the Phoenix area. He had actually told the deputy and I that the two individuals were armed, which is sad to say. We're seeing more of that, though. So that brings up our guard, brings in more resources. Two of them got away that day. We cleared a house up there. We thought they might have got into a residence. The next day, the two that got away knocked on a door at a residence and actually asked for a cell phone charger. The homeowners, being suspicious of that, called 911. Two of our deputies, Border Patrol, again, went out there, and we ended up finding them in the backyard. So, again, we need the public on this. We truly do. We had one the night before that where speeds were in excess of 100 miles an hour. The pursuit was terminated again, coming into Sierra Vista. About an hour later, we got a call that they went to a residence up in Whetstone. They pulled off up in Whetstone, and they were asking for water. Well, the driver even made the comment, and when they were talking to the people up there, the residents of the home, they said, "Oh yeah, we just ran from the cops and got away." Well, thank you to those residents. They called us, and we got them too. So again, eyes and ears on this one right now. That's the biggest thing. We're going to do everything we can to hold that manageable calm in the community. We know the border's got challenges right now. Anybody says different, they haven't been to the border, or they're not seeing or hearing what's going on. We know that's the case. And so we don't want to lose manageable calm in our communities. That's the biggest thing. Right now, law enforcement, state, local, and federal are doing a very good job of still working together and sharing the mission and keeping you all safe.
And so that's one of the things, too, is communication goes both ways. And so sometimes, we base our information that goes out on what we have immediately available. So he did say, 23 years old out of Phoenix.
Yes.
U.S. citizen. I don't know what he was thinking. Obviously not. And then just, basically saying these people are armed. And of course, it caused, a significant increase in our responses. Absolutely.
Yes.
So we need to make sure that if we have situations like this, we get the information out as quickly. Some of the comments we received are, you keep changing your story. Well, it's not. It's just as the facts begin to emerge, because we're going based off of what the driver was saying, which appears to be erroneous, or not. And then just trying to get all of the facts out there as quickly as possible. Alert Sense was working. People said, well, I live there and I didn't get it. If you're not signed up for county emergency notifications, please do so. And it's based on where you live. And what they do is they're able to put a message in there and draw a line around where they want it to go. So in this case, it was a 3-mile radius. So you could, in essence, live across the street from somebody who's inside the zone, and you won't get it, but your neighbor will. So it's not that we're not trying to notify you. It's just a matter of where the boundaries end up being when we're making notifications.
And you got to be signed up.
Yes.
And that's the biggest thing. You got to be signed up, and I encourage everybody to sign up on that. And you're exactly right. When we have these situations, they unfold very quickly. And we get the information. If you listen to any of our radios, you'll see how that unfolds. But when we take the driver down, he's the second one we took down at the front of the residence by the steps of this residence. So you think you got 5 running from us. The driver himself, they button hooked on us, came back toward us, and that's how we got the one. And then he's telling the deputy, hey, you guys need to be careful. 2 of them they're armed with pistol, semi-automatic weapons. We're going to take that serious. But with that, us taking it serious, we want to make sure you have that information too. Because if you're out mowing in your yard, you're out sitting watching TV inside your living room, whatever it may be, we want you to be alerted. And I talked to a lot of residents. They were very, very happy that evening because we did a notification within the community just because of our presence out there too. So we do the best we can, and as things change, we'll let you know. We even kept that notice out there because you and I spoke, Carol, about 8 o'clock that night where there was 2 still missing. So we're not going to shut that down, say, okay, everything's good, and then something bad happens. You kind of, no matter what you do, somebody's always going to criticize you. I don't know how else I can put that on there, but we're going to do the darndest to be transparent and let people know when there's a risk within their neighborhoods, their communities, and we'll continue to do that. And if people want to criticize, I can't control that.
And some of the things that you were talking about, border being, huge right now, and we've had a lot of people come into Cochise County to take a look. And some of the things that our group, SABRE, is working on is continually doing their job and being out in the community, and it's so impressive the work that they do. So thank you to everybody on that team and working so hard to get everything done. And so they have statistics for us.
Well, they do, and they do an amazing job. And this is off our virtual system. And you look at the stats last year; they're so different compared to this year, and that's what's frustrating. And a lot of people have heard me maybe speak on this, or in the media, whatever it may be, or on the show, for example. It's very frustrating to be where we were a year ago. Take the darn politics out of it, folks. Where we were a year ago on the collaboration, the collective efforts, the programs, everybody doing their thing to make this community and beyond safe, and we were. In 2021, just off our virtual system alone, we had 807 pounds of marijuana. That's what's seized. That's not what got away from us. That's what's seized. We identified 7,585 illegal entries and 33 drug mules, not the human smuggling coyotes. We're talking drug mules, the ones that we focus most our attention on. And because, first of all, it's a state violation. We go after that. Plus, I think it's a huge public safety risk. And so that just shows you what's happened in the first 3 months. That's alarming. We went 20 months without drugs in Cochise County when I'm talking about drug smuggling. And to see the uptick now and just see the uptick in our system throughout Cochise County and beyond, it's just, and that's felt by sheriffs. I mean, but it's felt by sheriffs that are very proactive in their communities when it comes to this. And I know there's a big, in Sonoyta, where there was some illegals dropped off and they broke into the businesses over there, and that's a big, I've got a lot of calls on that, and I refer them back to to their sheriff over there to address that. But we got to stand united. We need to work together, and we need to come up with some solutions yesterday, not even tomorrow. I think we're behind the curve here on this.
And speaking of yesterday, working on solutions, you traveled to Texas for a meeting.
It's been, I put 1,000 miles on my car this week plus. It's been a busy week everywhere, and I went to Texas to meet Secretary Mayorkas from Department of Homeland Security. We've been asking for a meeting with him. So he agreed. He flew into El Paso on his travels and met with a handful of sheriffs. I represented the National Sheriff Association along with our incoming president, Vernon, who's out of Ohio, and then Western sheriffs and Southwest Border sheriffs. So we had a handful of sheriffs there. We had a closed-door meeting. I'll just say that the meeting was very candid. Very passionate driven. I spoke my frustrations, I'll just say that, in what I call lack of transparency with not just I as a sheriff in this county, but our governor, our attorney general, mayors, and just community. They have a right to know. These are elected leaders, local, state, and federal. And when your local, state, federals aren't aware of a program, there's a problem. There's a huge problem. And that raises concern, and we've all addressed that here in this county. So it was productive, and I say that with optimistic hope because I've asked for a weekly conference call, Zoom, or a in-person meeting with the secretary so these select leaders from sheriffs can come together with him and start working on some solutions. And we presented some stuff yesterday to him that we'll make public here real soon, but long story short is this is their border. It's a federal border. They need to be stepping up and addressing that and being more transparent with it. And I went through the issues here in Cochise County. So we'll see where it goes. He's agreed to do that. I was pleased with that. At the end of it, the National Sheriff Association president even told the secretary that he needs to reinstate me on the HSAC. I wish he would talk to me before that. We're going to have a conversation about that, and we'll see what happens there. And we had a big discussion on that, too. I raised that question of the concern by getting rid of sheriffs off that, to include myself and other folks. We were doing some good work on that. And that's a nonpartisan committee. So, again, it was just hopefully a very beneficial meeting. Again, time will tell and action will tell to see if anything was beneficial. I will keep you all posted on that. But so, yeah, I felt better coming back. At least I got it off my chest. I mean, I scratched my way to get a meeting with him, so we'll see if it turns into some benefits. And that's a big, out of all things I've done as a sheriff, getting a meeting with him, number one, was difficult. I'll say that. Number two is we'll see if we can put some action behind it now. Chief Scott from Border Patrol, the number one, who's a good friend of mine, was there at the meeting too. I applauded him and his men and women, who I think are they're in a tough position right now with everything going on. And there's not a CBP agent out there that's not going to walk up and say, yeah, I mean, things aren't going on right now. They're frustrated, their morale's low, and that was brought up, I can tell you that. So, again, we'll keep pushing forward. I think sheriffs in this country have a huge voice in this. It's all about public safety. It's all about taking care of people in our communities and make sure they're safeguarded, and the humanitarian that we're seeing on this border. I mean, as we were speaking in that meeting yesterday, an individual had drowned, not in our county, in another county, and that's happening all the time. And then the tragedies on the trench coming up here and by the cartels. So it's just a bad deal all around. We got to get a handle on this. And
one of the things that people are concerned with too, and you went to Benson a couple weeks ago. You toured the facility that Vision Quest has basically opened for unaccompanied minors. And so they had a situation yesterday where one of the minors got out and was captured within minutes. And of course, once you get out, you can't go back in there. So then the child was turned over to Immigration and Customs Enforcement. So that's one of the concerns, again, our communities are looking at as well.
Well, and that went back to, and I just sat to a meeting last week again on that up in the Benson area with the mayor and council and community, and they have a rightful concern. The transparency, and let me rephrase that, the lack of transparency to establish this center in the Benson area with lack, and they went through their permits. I'm not saying that. They got their permits, but Vision Quest runs that. They run a different form of youth to help youth. Nothing was ever said about bringing in migrant children, unaccompanied minors. That's where it became very controversial. So, and I remember when I did the tour, they said, it's low risk, these kids will never want to leave. And I asked, why do you say that? And they made the comment to me that the reason they wouldn't want to escape is this is the best condition they've had. Well, never is a tough word to use. It truly is. In this case, they got out. The mayor sent me a thing yesterday when I was in Texas, and we're going back and forth on that. Benson PD got them right away. And so that's going to cause alarm. It's going to cause concern because that just reinforces the message from the community that they're concerned. And so I don't know where that's all going to go. This is within the proper of Correction Benson, so I know their mayor and council and their police chief have the ultimate authority to address this, and so it's going to be a challenge. There's no doubt about it, and I don't know, and I just wish that's why. As community leaders, you have to be transparent when it comes to things like this, because once it's established, it's hard to unestablish it, like in this case. So I don't know where this is all going to go.
And we did have a story with a happy ending that Carol shared on our Facebook page about a bicycle.
Yeah, so we had a kid in Douglas, had his bicycle stolen, 7 years old. He was absolutely devastated.
Ain't that sad?
It is. It is. So our deputies down there got together, and they were able to come up with a brand new bicycle, and they presented it to him, and they were so happy about it. They took a picture, so we put it on our Facebook, and everybody loves, a happy ending. We even had people then sending us messages that they were devastated that they lost their house and their RV and their car, but we won't be able to provide that same level of service in those instances. But they were really happy, and I think good job, Douglas. I think that was really good that they came together and were able to do that.
Yeah, shout out to those deputies and staff members down there to do that for this 7-year-old that doesn't really understand it all, I'm sure. Like, well, who took my bike and why would they take my bike? I mean, it's my bike. So for our staff to step forward and do that, I mean, and we don't do that out of your dollars, folks. We actually, the deputies pay for that or it's donated. We can't use tax dollars to go out and buy somebody a car because their car was stolen. That's a whole different kind of a government. It's not our kind of government. I'd be called out on that if I did that. But kudos to my staff for doing that. And that's what it's all about, paying it forward to these young people, especially our kids.
And we have a new deputy, too.
We do. He came over from Clifton PD, and I got the opportunity to sit down with him and swear him in this week, and just very energetic, very personable. He fits our culture. That's what we want. We want people that deputies that are going to go out and officers that work in a jail and staff members that, first of all, question we ask him, do you like people, right? And he obviously does. He's worked over there for 2 years. He just transferred in with us. He's going to work in the Sierra Vista region, Sierra Vista Bisbee region of our county. And I think people will really, really like him because he's got the energy and he's truly got the personality. And it's Deputy Terraza for Sophia. Deputy Terraza comes in contact with you. Tell him I gave him a shout out.
Also, we want to give a shout out for some people who kind of work behind the scenes a lot of the time. It's Communications Officer Week, and that starts Sunday.
It does. Next week, Sunday. And these folks are, like my pursuit the other day. They're our voice. They truly are. And it's almost, especially our experienced dispatchers, communicators, they know what's going on, even not sitting next to us. They can read our minds, but they bring in the resources for us. When you're out on the stop, and I jumped out of my car, and I'm cuffing up one of the illegals, and they already have backup coming. They already know, hey, I guess something's going on. Then I'm communicating, this is what I have, and they're getting resources there. They're the unsung heroes in our profession. They truly are. When people call 911, and whether it be a death, whether it be a burglary in progress, whatever it may be, they're the calm on the other side that says, hey, calm, we're going to take care of you. We're going to take care of you. They do an amazing job. So we're going to recognize them all next week. I think
Wednesday's ours.
Is it Wednesday our day?
Yes.
We're actually going to feed all the dispatchers. So Carol and I, and we're out of our personal pocket, we're gonna buy food for all the dispatchers and make sure they're taken care of. It's just a appreciation day. And I think, and Carol, you ran that center for years, and so you know more about it. Maybe you feel what they go through when they get these 911 calls, and trust me, I've seen them on some pretty hairy calls, man. Let me say.
And it takes a certain kind of person to do that job. I mean, you can't just say, okay, I'm going to go in there and I'm just going to sit down and answer a phone and talk on the radio. It takes a huge dedication and that mindset, because attrition happens when you have somebody who takes a call, and it does. It can get in your head, and so if you can't. That's why we're so glad that they have emergency medical dispatching now, because if you have taken a call and you know that you cannot give instructions to somebody to save their loved one, it's difficult. It's really difficult. So, having the thought process that you have to be able to be that voice of calm at any time, even if you're dealing with life and death situations, which you are every single day. And they're looking for good people. So if you think you can fit in that mold and make a difference, make sure you apply, because it's critical that we have good people in there and that you understand the great team that they have with everybody working together.
And I agree with that. And you look at where we've come over the last 3 years. In fact, let me go back for the last 8+ years where we've actually implemented a new infrastructure at Cochise County, all new towers and IT equipment. We got interoperability with our Spillman, which is our CAD system. Every agency in the county, to include Fort Huachuca, the fire department, we all use the same system now. So we're integrated in a positive way. The regional dispatch kind of caps all that. And I got to give a shout out, Mr. Buffett, who provided, I think it was $17 million total to buy the building, to remodel the building, to make CCOM what it is, to buy all the IT equipment, and just amazing. The computers in our patrol cars for some of the agencies, too, came from Mr. Buffett. He did some amazing stuff to be so generous to make us, I think, we're the most robust IT radios in the state, thanks to him. So, again, and now where we're at with the regional system, we only get better every day. So I appreciate that.
Well, we need to bring up fire danger. It's starting to get warm outside, so I know that throwing cigarettes out of cars, that's one of your pet peeves.
It is a pet peeve, and that's one I zero tolerance. I'll give you a ticket for that one. And I just did that about a week and a half ago to an individual, and it is. Look at Dudley. I think it's Dudley.
Dudleyville?
Dudleyville, is that what it's called? Up there. It's off the San Pedro River, too, up in Pinal County. But they've lost 12 structures. A dozen structures have burnt down, and I mean, it's just the wind's up right now. It's very, very dry. It's getting hot. It's primed for a wildfire. So just be very careful. And as we venture more into the forest and the deserts, just be careful out there. That's all I can say, because once it starts, it's hard to get a control on it without some tragedy.
And one of the things that people may not think about is your vehicle. So if something happens, you have vehicle problems and you pull off the side of the road, I know obviously you're looking for a safe place to to do that so you don't get smashed by somebody driving by. But make sure you don't have dry grass under your car either. And if you just have to pull off, be careful, because that dry grass will ignite pretty quickly from the heat from underneath your car. Chains, keep your chains tied up if you're towing a trailer. Make sure that they don't drag and spark something, because that never ends well, ever.
No, it doesn't. And the catalytic converters, they get really, really hot. That's the emission converters on a muffler system. And that's what starts those fires. They're so hot, and they touch that dry grass, and once they start, it's usually too late. It's too late. Your car is gone, first of all. But, yeah, just be careful out there and be very vigilant on that.
And it looks like we're starting to get a lot of people vaccinated now. We've got a pod tomorrow at Buena High School, and they have like a lot of vaccines.
A lot of vaccines left over. As a matter of fact, Mark Savage, Chief Savage, great job, getting the information out there, and everything that our health and social services are doing, everything that Sierra Vista Fire is doing. Thank you so much to everybody for doing that. But earlier this week, they had over 700 left. So sign up. If you need your vaccine, this is the way to do it.
I remember when it first came in, there wasn't enough vaccines. It was like we do hills and valleys. Have you noticed that?
Yes.
And so we're at the hilltop here. So if you need it, it's there. Jump on that. And I know that kudos to Buena High School. It's been very beneficial.
It has been.
To get your vaccine. So, yeah, if you need it, I mean, it's on you now.
And check the portal, because we have one in Portal, which is the northern part of the county. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that, but Portal's going to have one too, because we need to make sure we address the more rural parts of our county. So if you need the vaccine, they're doing everything that they can through health and social services to make sure that they spread that evenly throughout. And then really quickly with vaccines, kudos to Megan at our detention center, and all of the health department staff that we have there for getting that vaccine and getting inmates vaccinated.
That's right. And let me go back and clarify on that, because I was asked the question. For inmates, if they want it, they can have it. We don't force it on our inmates. Yeah, I mean, I'm a big believer in personal choices on this, and if you want it, it's there. If you don't, that's your choice. And same thing for our inmates. We don't force that on our inmates. But I think it's about, 50%, 51% of the inmates took it.
It was high.
It was pretty high. In fact, it's higher than the public average.
Right.
So, yeah, they took it, which is better for us. Trust me, when you have people confined within a facility, detention facility, I mean, the more people you can get vaccinated, I'm a believer that it's good. But, again, it's a choice.
And it was the one dose.
Yeah. The Johnson & Johnson.
Johnson & Johnson, the one.
And some of these people might be homeless and don't have access to computers or phones to make an appointment, so this might be the only way they could get it. So I think it's very positive.
It's funny you say that, Grady. I mean, some of the best medical care they get comes through our jails. It truly is. We have a very impressive staff down there, and some of the folks that are, like I said, homeless or just not up to their prevention medicine, they get it when they come in our jail. So plus they get fed well and all the things that come with that. And so, and by the way, on the jail, we're pushing forward on that. We've been having a lot of meetings. I'll just say my staff has had a lot of meetings in regards to getting the facts about a remodel, rebuild, repair mode, whatever that's going to come out with, to include we're looking at certification. And we know that's not going to happen because of the current condition of the jail, but that will feed into where we're going, though. So I'm excited. Hopefully we'll have that out soon.
That's the way to do it, because we still have the extension cord going across our parking lot. So
yeah, Commander Bradshaw, runs my jail, heard us on the radio a couple weeks ago. You told people we have an extension cord? Well, we do. I mean, it's not like that's. I mean, it is. It's truly an extension cord that runs across our parking lot that's guarded because of the voltage going through that. And so there's a security guy out there that watches that 24/7 so nobody gets hurt. But, yeah, that's kind of a sample of what's going on in that jail right now. And, Grady, you know that. You're down there a lot. So
congratulations to everybody for working so hard on that. And thanks, Commander Bradshaw. Really, we're not picking on you. It's a good thing.
Well, kind of we are a little bit. We got to pick on him a little bit. I did Commander Leanin a couple weeks ago on the 91-year-old.
That's true.
So he's in the barrel too.
And so, thanking people. I just wanted to really quickly, Sierra Vista Herald carriers. They're out there at 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, making sure you get your paper. And I think that's probably everywhere in Cochise County that has a newspaper service. But our carrier, she's really good about leaving notes, just for Thanksgiving and for Christmas and for Easter and hey, hope your day's going well. And she doesn't expect anything in return. So, Katharina, thank you so much for everything that you're doing for us and every carrier that has to be out there. I've never had to deliver newspapers, but I've talked to people who have that as their side job, first job, second job, fifth job. That's got to be tough. You know, you have to be up in the middle of the night wrapping papers, getting them, make sure they don't get wet if the weather is bad, and making sure you pay attention and don't miss somebody, because, man, if you are supposed to get a paper and you don't get one, watch out. Or if your neighbor steals it, I'm not saying that happens, but if your neighbor steals it and then you blame it on the carrier, so they got it tough. So thank you so much for everybody who does that kind of job.
Well, you got the human side to that too. I mean, they get sick, or maybe something happens, or I mean, mistakes are made, but I echo that too, Carol. And you know, and I tell you, if you don't get your paper, all you do is call the Herald, and they'll send you another one, or go by and pick one up. I mean, and I take that to the next level. Jennifer and Andrew over at the Service to Herald, they've been very good. I truly appreciate them and all their staff over there. They've been good working with the sheriff's office and law enforcement, getting the information out. I agree. I don't agree with every article. And what I mean to that is something, we make a mistake and then we're on the front page. Hey, I get it. I mean, welcome to leadership. You got to take your beats too. But when it comes to writing a community paper, I think they do an amazing job. So, Jennifer, thank you to Andrew, and your staff.
And we've had a week of losses, if you will, and even this morning. So this morning, in case people haven't heard, Prince Philip passed away, 99 years old, after being married to the Queen for over 70 years.
I just heard that this morning.
I know. That's
Prayers
amazing.
to the royal family. I mean, they've been big headlines too with with the big article that came out here about a month ago. So, but yeah, I'm sure it's a sad day at the castle.
And Representative Alcee Hastings out of Florida. And then we look at our losses in our officers throughout the United States. So we had Deputy Christopher Knight of Bibb County Sheriff's Office in Georgia. Young guy, you know, he was 23 years old and ended up in a situation, died in the line of duty after being stabbed. Officer James Kowieski out of Hometown. Can you imagine Hometown, Illinois police? And you just get killed out of your hometown. That was really sad. And then again, Capitol Police Officer William Evans. So it's been really a sad week to have that many losses.
It is, and you've been posting that on our Facebook, and I appreciate that and honor these officers and their community service and their community heroes. And it's there's more that goes on in this country and not. And we always think, well, it's the big city officers that are dying and being killed. No, that's not true. It can be anywhere in this country, and anytime anybody puts a badge on, and that goes for our firemen out there too. Mm-hmm. Truly, I mean, you look at the firemen that have been killed in the line of duty. That's actually on an uptick, which is very sad, because they're usually the heroes with the big red trucks. But when people are not in the right state of mind, or these violent offenders, I mean, they don't care what kind of badge you have, and so we got to stand united for our public safety heroes in our communities.
And Sheriff Mark Daniels, before you go, we've got our safety message of the week, and you alluded to it earlier with see something, say something.
And that, thank you, Grady. And that is, you look at the two incidents we had with the pursuits. Both of them were captured by community members. They truly were. It didn't feel right. It didn't look right. Didn't smell right. So they called the sheriff's office. We went out there, and we need our public to keep calling us. We do. And I would just say, especially the folks in the road, be a little extra vigilant right now. We got a lot of smuggling going on and coming through our deserts and our communities and private lands. So call us. Please give us a call and let us assess it. It might be nothing. I'd rather get out there and smile with you and say, okay, we checked it out. It wasn't nothing. Then not call, and it is something. And the other thing about it, I'll just say this with you too, is one thing we're looking at, I put this message out this week, is if we have smugglers that have committed a state violation crime, and whether trespass is a prime example. If they come on your property and they're trying to get in your residence or doing something, we will charge them. We will charge them when the law fits. So we're not just going to turn them back over, but we got to make sure the law fits. Our trespass laws in Arizona, I'll tell you, we can talk more about that next week. They're very challenged. They are. They're built for urban communities, or not built for rural communities when it comes to how the writing is. And I'll go over that next week with you. We'll talk about that. So, but again, call us. See something, say something. Give us a call.
All right. Well, thanks for talking to us today, Sheriff Mark Daniels.
Thank you, Ray. Thank you, Carol. Thank you, everybody. Have a safe week.
And who do we have coming in next, Carol?
We have Cochise County School Superintendent, Miss Jackie Clay.
It's First Watch on KWCD Country, brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
It's First Watch now.
Hosted by Public Information Officer Carol Kappas and Grady Butler.
On 92.3 KWCD.
And it's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative. I'm Grady Butler, and with me is Carol Kappas, Public Information Officer with the Cochise County Sheriff's Office, and our next guest.
Oh, welcome back, Cochise County, and if you're driving to work, please be safe out there. We have Miss Jackie Clay, Cochise County School Superintendent. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for inviting me. This is exciting, as always.
And there is so much stuff going on with your office. Let's start with your move. You were in the old high school in Bisbee. Beautiful building we were talking about. But again, no parking, difficult issues all the way around. So where are you at now?
Wow, I think we're probably at your old stomping ground. We're at the jail.
4001 East Foothills Drive.
Yes, see? Your old
Yes.
stomping ground. Over there on Foothills Drive, over there where the sheriff used to be at a long time ago. We didn't want to move because we loved the school. But then, the school is getting old, and it was harder to keep everything up. I think the boiler had busted, and that happened in December, and no more heat. So we didn't have any heat until then, and we got this space. And this space is wonderful because we can now serve the community on a greater capacity. Now we have parking. Before we didn't have parking. Now we have parking. We can have our business managers training, which we are going to have. We can have our governing boards training. We have amazing governing board members, but they work, they volunteer, they don't have time to go to Phoenix. All right, so my office fills in the gaps. That's all we do. We look around and see what gaps we can fill. So we're providing training to our amazing governing board members, and also providing a venue for them to collaborate and see each other.
And with your location, again, that's right there on Foothills Drive off of Highway 92.
Yes.
You have a lot of plans for the back section of that and things that you're going to run out of there. So it's going to be your education center?
I think that this is the first county education center that we've had. So there's a space where we have turned it into an education center. We've put a teacher there, Miss Alicia Buchanan. She is our jail educator. So she'll be at the jail for 4 days a week, and she'll be coming to the education center on Fridays all day. This is to help our students who are working on their GED. We're providing GED services for our students coming out of the jail and the detention center free of charge. So they have a chance, a second chance at life or at obtaining their GED. The back space also is going to be used for students for our new school. They are going to be working with Ms. Buchanan or myself. I'm a certified teacher, or Ben Rayner, who is the principal. He's certified, and then our my admin assistant is also a certified teacher. So we have a lot of certified people there, and I'm even looking at the sheriff having some sort of position in our school because he's certified. So it's exciting. As far as the back, we would like that to be a STEM garden, and the STEM garden center. So anybody can go back there, and I believe it's good for social and emotional learning, good for health. And we've gotten with U of A, and they are just Charlotte Taylor. I talked to her, and she eyes watered. She said, Jackie, this is amazing. So they're going to help us plan it. So all that gravel, et cetera, we want to turn that into an oasis of something where there's a learning space back there for our students. So all those students who are going to come to our school, which you're going to talk to me about later, okay, in a few minutes, we have some teachers who had volunteered to teach music lessons and all these other great things. And So they're going to use that space back there for things like that and for STEM things. STEM is science, technology, engineering, and math. So we're going to put some edibles back there, edible type plants back there. It's just going to be a great place.
So tell us about your new school.
We are now as of last night, we are an accommodation school district. Our accommodation school district focuses on dropout recovery. This is for students 16 to 22 years old. They will have the opportunity to receive a high school diploma. They will be taking one class at a time online. They'll have someone online helping them, but we will be there too. We'll have our staff helping also. If they complete one class and do well, we have partnered with Cochise College, and we are going to be offering them CTE courses. And Carl Giffer, who is a very amazing gentleman out of Cochise College, we're going to have a meeting today. We're talking about offering these students who are still in high school now, so they can have JTED or CTED classes. We're talking auto, we're talking HVAC, we're talking coding, cybersecurity. So all these students who might have dropped out of school and just thought that I've just made a mistake and life is over, we're going to give them that second chance. It is free, okay? And I think that this is going to be a great opportunity for our county because we have what you call opportunity youth. Our opportunity youth rate is 17%, should be below 7. Opportunity youth are those students who are 16 to 25 years old and they've dropped off the map. They're not going to work, they're not going to school, and I think that they've just lost confidence in themselves. So we believe that this dropout accommodation school will validate our future leaders. They're there. We just have to find them. And the schools know we are not taking we're not taking their jobs. All right. We just want those students who have dropped out of school. Okay. Anybody else? You guys need to stay in school. These are basically for those who have dropped out or those high-risk kids who cannot get into school. Okay, we're filling a gap for that right there. And what's good for the schools is any student who've dropped out of a school, that school AF score goes down. It's a W. They're coded W5. If we find them, the school is going to let us know who's dropped out. They have to drop out after 30 days. Once we find them and we get them into our schools, they're coded a W1. W1 means that they were just transferred, which means that the AF score stays good. So this is good for all around. And I want to let you know what the name of the school is. A shout out to, I'm going to say, our amazing students that are in the jail. Kids make mistakes. We still have to validate them. They have 90 plus years to live. And they've messed up these couple of years, so we validated them. They have named the school, and the school is called New Crossroads Academy. That was by our students at the jail. And now they're working on their code of conduct, okay, and their belief statements. That is their next assignment, which they will basically give me a presentation next month. But they're working on the belief statements. We still have to give those students motivation, direction, and purpose because they're still our citizens. And just like I told them, you got 90 plus years to live, 90 plus years to give to our community. We need you. You messed up. That's okay. Okay? We got you. This county has you, and we want you to stay here so we can move forward and reach sustainability.
And Ms. Jackie, your office has been doing amazing things. So we've got the move, we've got the new school, we've got the STEM garden, and then we finally have to talk about Teacher of the Year really quickly.
Real quick.
Next Saturday, the 17th. So tell us what we're doing. Yes, real quick.
Teacher of the Year, it will be drive-through like last year. We are recognizing our new teachers, and we're going to recognize our top teacher of the year. We're going to recognize middle school. We're middle school, elementary school, and high school. And then all the nominees. And what's great about it, all the nominees were nominated not just by the schools, but by mothers, fathers, neighbors. So it was very inclusive. So it's going to start at 10 o'clock. And it's usually over within an hour, but it's going to be a drive-through. We got the cowbells that make a whole lot of noise. We have U of A, Ike, he's going to play the music. We have the SAT team is going to, and that's you guys' team. They're going to supply the, oh my goodness, I can't even remember. Yeah, the power, sorry.
Yes.
It's early. They're gonna supply the power, and of course, the mall is supplying the space. This was definitely a team effort. It wasn't a county superintendent thing. It was our thing.
Well, thank you so much for doing all of that again, and we're looking forward to the Education Center, the opening.
Yes.
Thank you to all of your staff because they are amazing. Thank you, Cindy. She puts up with me. Everybody's doing an amazing job. They really are. And all of this is free for students, and you're right. We don't want them to drop out of society.
We love you guys. Whoever you are, come. We love you. We're going to have a waiting list. We're going to start school in the fall, but we need the waiting list. So if you're interested, please let us know so we could put you on the waiting list, and we will be talking soon.
Well, thanks for coming and talking to us today, Jackie.
This is amazing. I love you both. It was great being here.
First Watch on KWCD Country, brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
You've been listening to First Watch with the Cochise County Sheriff's Office.
Hosted by Cochise County Public Information Officers Carol Kappas and Grady Butler.
Join us again next Friday morning, 7 to 8 a.m.
First Watch.
What you need to know from the Cochise County Sheriff's Office.
Only on 92.3 KWCD.